Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you here this morning. About to get ready for a good day of work here. We're going to be going in. We're going to be selling some meat today. It's going to be a good one. Talking about Extreme Rules. Yesterday, I talked about the stipulation added to the Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins WWE Championship match. Today, it's going to be all about John Cena. Look at this. We're in all the Cena gear today. Cena sweatshirt on top of Cena shirt. Got to get changed, I meant. For some reason, I left my work shirt in my car, so I had to wear regular clothes to get here. But fun times coming up ahead for John Cena and Rusev. They're going to be having, hopefully, the blow-off match. You know, they had the match at Fastlane. They had the match at WrestleMania. Now they're going to be having the match at Extreme Rules. It's going to be a Russian chain match. Rusev attacking John Cena after the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge on Monday Night Raw, laying him out. It seems that him and Lana are back on the same page yet once again. And, I don't know. I really think that Cena should keep the United States Championship. I thought that when he won the title, honestly, I didn't really think that he was going to be able to bring prestige to the title. I know that, Daniel Bryan is on SmackDown talking about trying to bring prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship, and he's been having, matches for the title, and he's going to be going up against Wade Barrett. And I think that on the horizon for Daniel Bryan, his next match is going to be going up against Sheamus. Once Sheamus has his match with Dolph Ziggler at Extreme Rules. I don't know where we go with John Cena, but honestly, watching Monday Night Raw week in and week out, the U.S. Challenge, I think, honestly, is getting over. It gets to see John Cena wrestle in real wrestling matches that we don't really get to see all the time. John Cena is sort of like a protected guy. He will be involved in angles and things on the show, but most of the time, John Cena is wrestling in the main event of Monday Night Raw, and the matches will end at a count out. The matches will end with some tomfoolery where you don't really get a finish. It's to build up the next week's edition of Raw. But, we're getting to see him wrestle sometimes in the first hour, sometimes in the second hour. And, they're real wrestling matches. I mean, they're wrestling matches like I used to watch when I was a kid. And to me, that's stuff that I want to see. I want to see a guy go into a match and have a clean finish in order to find out who the real best competitor there is going inside of the ring. Rusev was a good United States champion, but honestly, in my book, I thought of him as United States champion a lot like the way I thought of Dean Ambrose when he was involved in the Shield, where he just held the title, and it seemed like the title was never really on the line or never really up for grabs. I never really felt like there was competition for the title. Rusev, his biggest plus wasn't the United States Championship. It was that he was undefeated, that, he had lost a match via countout to Jack Swagger. I think they said that he had lost another match to Ryback. It might have been via disqualification, but he hadn't been pinned and he hadn't been submitted. At WrestleMania, they were able to finally take that off of him, and it seemed like they didn't really make that the big highlight. The big highlight at WrestleMania was John Cena winning the United States Championship. It was 11 years, I think, after his last reign as United States champion, after he beat Big Show at WrestleMania 20, and then he held the belt all the way up until WrestleMania 21 when he lost it, I believe, on the go-home SmackDown to Orlando Jordan, trying to put a little bit more heat on him. So that way when he went up against JBL, it felt like his back was up against the wall because the cabinet had already, stolen one of the big ones from him, and the belt that he'd held for, I think he'd held it for almost a year, but there was that short time when I think he was filming The Marine where he got stabbed in the nightclub. He lost to Carlito, and Carlito is United States champion before, I believe, Cena got it back. But I could be a little bit wrong. That like I said, it was years and years and years ago. But the Russian chain match, I think, is a great match to have for Rusev and Cena. I know that Cena has his time with the chain as well. Most people won't forget, when he was first coming on, he always wore that big chain around his neck with the big, I was going to call it the Master Lock, but I guess that's Chris Masters. But he used to use that thing a lot, and he'd have it in his corner. I think he even had it, for a little bit of his babyface run before he dropped the rapper's gimmick, and just straight up came the Marine. But if you think about Russians in wrestling, you think about the Koloffs. And, they would have those killer chain matches back in the day. I know I was listening to Wrestling Observer back in the day, and they were talking about Bruno Sammartino going against Koloff back in the day when San Martino beat him. I believe they said that match was in the Garden, and that was a big historic match. But you can think about the Road Warriors matches in the NWA and things like that. But I haven't seen a good chain match. The one that comes to my mind is the one that I watch more often than none, is the Roddy Piper versus Greg the Hammer Valentine from the first Starrcade. That's a damn good match, and those guys beat the hell out of each other. It's hard to say that those guys even walked out of the ring that night. They beat the hell out of each other so much. But how they're going to be able to do that style of match, that was a dog collar match more than a chain match. But and I don't know if WWE would be able to get away with that these days. But, they were choking each other with a chain, and they were hitting each other upside the head. And I believe that Roddy Piper says that he can't hear out of his left ear because of Greg the Hammer Valentine punching him with that chain so many times. I think he said he's pretty much 100% deaf on one side of his head because of that chain match. But I don't know if they're going to be using the chain throughout the match. I know that they can hit each other a few times, but it's just sort of, maybe I think that the finish is actually just going to be somebody finally grabbing the chain and just one punch, boom, down goes that guy, 1, 2, 3, and that would be the finish. I think that's the only way you could really do it, because in today's era where I know there is accidental blood, I was going to say that there is no blood in wrestling anymore, but you can't say that after the Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania 31 when he went into the post against Roman Reigns and he got split open. And some people said that he bladed, and some people said that it was the hard way. Whatever happened, it made the match a little bit better, because you were like, whoa, Lesnar's an actual human. I know that Triple H came walking out there like Terminator, but I think most of the people think of Brock Lesnar as pretty much of a machine that's just going to go out there and beat everybody. And here he is actually showing, that he has the capability of being beaten down, because once you get bloodied and beaten down, it starts wearing on you, and you're going down. But we'll have to see what goes down. It's hard for those guys to get a few shots in with that chain and not not look superhuman by not it's not the old days when the guys would get hit with the chain and they do a little notch in their forehead and then the blood would start coming down, the crowd get all fired up. They don't do stuff like that anymore. So we'll have to see what's going down at the pay-per-view. I honestly hope that Cena's going to get the win here. I feel like he's going to get the win. I know there's going to be people out there saying that, Cena, killed off another guy like he killed off Bray Wyatt last year. But Rusev can find something coming out of this. You keep him and you keep Lana as a team. I know once you work Cena, it's hard to go work anybody else and have you feel like it's going to mean something. I mean, like, they put Rusev up against Dolph Ziggler. Is that a match that people really care about? But you gotta have hopes that WWE has long-term plans for this guy. I think if Rusev is sort of like a Triple H guy coming out of NXT, and he's going to be pushing him and making sure that he gets going again. So we'll have to see what happens. But Extreme Rules, right up around the corner. It's sooner than you think. Peace out, everybody.